Hey, what's up, everybody? Another great episode of Fourth Person Point of View, baby. And today's episode, it's kind of something that's blowing up the internet. You've probably seen it, but one name sticks out, and that is Mr. Larry Hoover. So if you've been following the news, you are aware that President Donald Trump commuted Larry Hoover's sentence on May the 28th. And it's causing a lot of racket. But racket is coming. You hear racket no matter what somebody does, good, bad, happy, or sad. So let's get to it here. So this is an article according to usnews.com, written on May the 29th, published by Cecilia Smith Skonwalder. And it says Trump commutes the life sentence of Larry Hoover. Who is he? It says President Donald Trump this week commuted the federal life sentence of Chicago gang leader Larry Hoover. Hoover was serving 6 life sentences after his 1997 conviction in federal court, still faces a 200-year state sentence in Illinois. Trump can only commute federal sentences, so it is unlikely that Hoover will be back on the streets. But Trump's decision likely means Hoover will be moved from a notorious supermax prison in Colorado to a prison in Illinois. Hoover, 74, was convicted in federal court of conspiracy, extortion, money laundering, and running Chicago's Gangster Disciples. Okay. It says Hoover's son and others have long called for the gang leader's release after nearly 3 decades in prison in solitary confinement. He deserves redemption, his son Larry Hoover Jr. told ABC7. He deserves a second chance at being a part of this community, and he can be a benefit to this community if they want him to be a benefit to this community. His attorneys has argued in recent years that Hoover has been rehabilitated. Now, President Trump pardoned and commuted a bunch of other sentences. Larry Hoover just happened to be one of them. Some of the people are saying the problem is that Larry Hoover is a gang leader. That might be right. But like his son said here, and I quote, he deserves redemption. He does. Let me point something else out to you here. Senator Kennedy So this right here, what a lot of people don't know, this is called the, that's a big word, the Chappaquiddick, the Chappaquiddick incident, a car accident in 1969 involving Senator Ted Kennedy and his passenger Mary Jo Kopechine resulted in her death. Kennedy was driving under the influence and his car went off the road and into the water. Kopechine was trapped inside and drowned. Kennedy fled the scene and pleaded guilty to leaving the scene of an accident causing personal injury, which led to a nationally known scandal. The incident occurred in Chappaquiddick Island, Massachusetts, United States, sometime around midnight between July 18th and 19th in 1969. When Mary Jo Kopechine died inside the car driving by United States Senator Ted Kennedy after he accidentally drove off a narrow bridge, causing it to overturn. So, the real story, so this is by People magazine, so people.com. This was published on July 18, 2024, and this is by Jennifer Lynch and James Mersandate. So it says Ted and Kopechine, whatever, had attended a party with friends earlier that night at a rented cottage on the island, a small stretch of land that is part of the better-known island of Martha's Vineyard, a popular vacation destination for old money families. Reportedly, only 12 people were at the gathering. Ted, 5 other married men, and 6 so-called boiler room girls, the name given to a clutch of young unmarried female campaign strategists, including Kapachani, who had worked on Robert's presidential campaign before he was assassinated in 1968. Whether because of the enormity of the tragedy or the unanswered question, the scandal haunted Ted's political career and is believed to have sunk his presidential campaign some 10 years later when he unsuccessfully challenged then President Jimmy Carter in 1980. But my point I'm making, he didn't go to prison for this. He didn't go to prison for it. And he was a senator. I'm not making this up. This is, go to people.com, type in the real story of Chappaquiddick, or you can just put in Senator Ted Kennedy. Yeah, Senator Ted Kennedy and the Chappaquiddick crash. He killed her. He ran off the road, killed her, and he left. He didn't go to prison. This is a senator. Let me go to something else. And what were they doing out that time of night? Let me go to something else here. Stay with me. I swear we're going to get back on topic here. Okay, this is what I'm looking for here. Hold on. There was a type in, this is for y'all at home. Go to cbsnews.com, type in Michael Skakel, Skakel, Kennedy cousin whose conviction in killing of Martha Moxley was overturned. And let me read you a little bit of this here. This is this was published January 3rd, 2024. I just told you the title. It says Kennedy cousin Michael Skakel, whose murder conviction in the 1970s killing of a teenager in Connecticut was overturned, is suing the lead police investigator in the case in the town of Greenwich for alleged malicious prosecution, civil rights violation, and other claimed wrongdoing. The case made headlines worldwide and was subject to the 48 Hours episode called The Diary of Martha Moxley. You should go watch it. I've watched it. It's interesting. Skakel, 63, nephew of Robert F. Kennedy's widow, Ethel Kennedy, was found guilty in 2002 of the 1975 bludgeoning death of Martha Moxley, who lived across the street from the Skakel family in wealthy Greenwich and whose body was found in her family's backyard. Both Skakel and Moxley were 15 at the time of the death. Go watch that shit on 40. It's not on First 48. You know, First 48 show a lot of poor black crimes. 48 Hours shows more white stuff. But this is called The Diary of Martha Moxley. It's an interesting case because they tried to frame a black guy. So it was a black kid who was in that neighborhood whose family was kind of well off. They tried to blame this murder on him, that family. And luckily, it was some white people in the community who knew the young black guy, and they said, no, y'all not finna blame that shit on that black kid. He ain't got shit to do with this. That was your worthless ass. And so since the family was politically connected with the Kennedys, they was able to fight it for so long, and the girl's family did not want to let it rest, so they kept going. They finally got a conviction, but he went to prison for a few years. Now he's out. Let me double check here. So the whole thing was bogus. Okay, the Connecticut Supreme Court overturned Skakel's conviction in 2018 after he served around 11 years in prison, saying his defense lawyer failed to present evidence in the alibi. So y'all tried to blame a black kid during that time for this murder. And then, luckily, some white people said, we're not letting you do that black kid like that. They all lived in this community, and they interviewed the black kid, and he's like, hell no, I ain't done nothing. It was his ass. They tried to cover it up. He was able to dodge prison for all them damn years. Then they finally got him. Then he was released after, right at 11 years. He got longer, but they went in there and used their political connections and money, and his ass got out. So now back to Mr. Hoover. You just had all this fuckery with the Kennedy family, and I didn't pull that out of my ass. I want you to go look it up. And if you don't want to read it and you're looking for a good little short 40-minute documentary, go look up The Diary of Martha Moxley, Moxley. It's interesting. That's the Kennedy family. So murder, I just told you about Senator Kennedy, Senator Ted Kennedy, who was driving and killed a girl and went back to his room and then reported it later. He apologized to the nation because a lot of people in America was like, fuck that. You're not finna keep doing this, because the Kennedys were known for bullshit. They said, no, you're not finna do that girl like that. So he apologized, but he did not spend any time in prison. Now back to Mr. Hoover. Whatever y'all saying Mr. Hoover is guilty of, the man's been in prison for several years. He's 74 years. Hold on, let me double check here. Let's double check. Did I say 74? There, I think I said 74. Okay, so yeah, he's 74 years old. Larry Hoover is 74 years old, and he's been in prison over 50 years. Okay, so Larry Hoover's been in prison approximately 52 years. So you telling me that a goddamn man that did something when he was a young man, he's been in prison 52 goddamn years, he's paid his debt to society, you saying that man don't deserve redemption after goddamn Senator fucking Kennedy killed a girl for bullshit? He was married too, I think. Let me double check. I don't want to put out no false shit. I already know the answer though. Yes. Ted Kennedy was married when the Chappaquiddick incident occurred. He was married to Joe Bennett Kennedy. And they was out at 12 a.m. now. This is a married man out with somebody at 12 o'clock and he's married. I'm not here to judge. But he killed a woman. He apologized. Not a day in prison. Now you got this other Kennedy, which I just told y'all that documentary you can go on 48 hours and watch. They finally got justice because the girl's mom just wouldn't let the shit rest. His ass got locked up. He did right at 11 years. They pulled some more bogus shit. They got him out of prison. I'm okay with that. I'm not God. But from a fourth person perspective, something's got to goddamn give in the United States, because I know what it is, but you got all these damn guys doing this bullshit, but then this man over here that did something has been in prison for 52 goddamn years for something he did in his the early years of his life. 52 years in prison, now he's 74 years old, and you still trying to hold that man accountable? Knock it the fuck off. If Larry Hoover is an American citizen, just like Senator Kennedy, he should be given redemption like his son said. The Menendez boys killed their parents back in the early 90s. Let's get some facts here. Right, the Menendez boys killed their parents August 20th, 1989. They killed them in cold blood. Y'all are advocating for them to get their asses out. They're about to get out. Let me make sure they're not out yet. They're not out yet, but it says a judge resentenced them to 50 years to life with the possibility of parole, making them eligible for release, but they are still incarcerated. Okay. So what happened on that's the Menendez brothers there. Y'all can go look them up. Hold on, let's look at this here. It says Eric and Lyle Menendez were resentenced. Forgive me, this bright ass light throws a glare on this Mac here. If it says Eric and Lyle Menendez were resentenced on Tuesday to 50 years to life in prison, which makes them eligible for parole. The latest step in a years-long battle for the brothers trying to get released after 35 years behind bars. They've been in the media here a lot. And the way I see it, with all the goddamn Gen Z people supporting them, which is kind of scary, Gen Z have been supporting these damn brothers. A lot of advocates on Instagram and YouTube and everywhere else have been advocating for these bastards to get out of prison. That's them right there. This was a rich family here. This was a rich family, and these crazy ass brothers, they actually lied and said a black man did it, but they did it. Once again, lying on a black man, which for the record, black people as a whole have the highest exoneration rate in the United States at like 53 to 54%, which means that 50% of the time when black people are in the judicial system is bullshit. Just FYI, look it up. Yeah, but those are the Menendez boys there. So the judge resentenced them just so they could get parole. That's what they're doing because they got life in prison. So they're working on getting these boys out of prison. They killed both of their damn parents. And once again, if you hadn't seen their movie, go watch the movie. It's a great movie, but it is cool. They actually have a documentary too. And when the bastards got caught, like I said, they lied and said a black man did it. Then the investigators was like, nah, bitch, knock it off. And they did research and found out their asses did it. They went and told their psychiatrist about it too. And, he finally came out and told his little 2 cents. But once again, so these people killed 2 people. Guilty. And if you can advocate for these 2 goddamn devils to get out of prison, which is what they are, devils, shit, killing their damn parents for what I took is bullshit. But once again, so I just named you 4 people that have been accused of murder, and ain't nobody saying nothing, but when Larry Hoover tries to get redemption and get out of prison to enjoy the rest of his life, it seems to be a problem, which that's not okay to me. I'm not God, and people fuck up all the time. So if it's okay for these people, Senator Kennedy, shit is good for Mr. Larry Hoover too. Let that man out of prison. Shit, 52 fucking years he's paid his debt to society, and you got people walking around here now that are responsible for killing people in other documented crimes. I mean, nobody said anything to Emmett Till's accusers. You see where I'm going with this? So I feel like if Mr. Hoover is a redeemed man, which 52 years of his life, what more do you want from him? 52 years of his life behind bars, I'm sure the man is rehabilitated. If Mr. Hoover has the voice of poor black males in inner city communities across America, if he can be a goddamn voice for change, let him be one. That's what it's all about anyway. It's all about making America a better nation for everybody, because we're like all intertwined with each other. Nobody in this country can be oppressed, not in 2025. We just don't have the ass and muscle. We need every goddamn body in the walls of the United States of America to have a fair chance and to reach their full potential. And that's just so we can goddamn, as a whole nation, I'm talking black, white, purple, pink, and yellow, as a nation, be competitive in the global market with everybody else, because you got China and Africa. They're moving at a fast pace right there, right now themselves. So we can't afford to be oppressing nobody. But if Mr. Hoover has the ability to reach poor black youth, especially, let that man out. Let him redeem himself as a member of society, and let him change some of the things that he might have been a part of when he was a younger man. And so, like I said, President Trump pardoned several people. Excuse me. Said he pardoned Todd and Julie Chrisley, Kentrell D. Gaulden, which is NBA YoungBoy. He pardoned Michael Grimm, who's a former congressman. Mr. Hoover, he pardoned Scott Howard Jenkins. Jeremy Young Hutchison. And Commutations, Carlos Watson, founder of Ozzy Media. See where I'm going with this? So there was a lot of people pardoned. So that's pretty much my take on Mr. Hoover. Let's stop the racism. Let's stop having selective amnesia too. When it comes to certain people, people want to turn a blind eye. Then when it's other people, everybody want to say, march them to the guillotine. I mean, it's like I'm watching right now on the news. I see nothing but P. Diddy, P. Diddy, P. Diddy. Harvey Weinstein is in the media too, but nobody's really covering it. And you got Brett Favre as well. Brett Favre has a goddamn documentary on Netflix talking about the bullshit he is involved in, which is fraud and sex. But I don't see none of the major news networks covering it. You all are focused on P. Diddy's ass, which, you know, that's not right. And trust me, don't say you're doing it to P. Diddy because he'll get ratings. Brett Favre is an American goddamn hero when it comes to sports. Trust me, motherfuckers will tune in to CNN and Fox News to watch Brett Favre's goddamn media coverage. Shit, trust me. He will probably get more than Diddy, because a lot of us don't. I'm not like a P. Diddy fan myself. So to me, an athlete like Brett Favre would get more attention than somebody like P. Diddy. So let's knock off the BS. But like I said, just to recap, I feel like Larry Hoover served 52 years in prison. I feel like he's paid his dues to society. I feel like he should be let out to enjoy some of the rest of his life. He's got a son, and he's got grandchildren, and I think he still has a wife. Let that man out, let him enjoy the rest of his life. If he can be a voice of change for a lot of people, let the man do his work before God takes him home. You know, we don't know how long any of us have on earth. But I mean, 74 years old, spending most of his life in prison. I mean, he's an old man, technically. So, you know, he according to statistics, you know, we don't know how long he's got left. But let that man enjoy the rest of his life. Let that man be a voice for change. Because I feel like a lot of young males in the inner cities will listen to him. Don't be so quick to goddamn be judgmental to people and hold them accountable when you don't hold other people accountable. Like I said, the Menendez boys will be out pretty soon. Mark my word. I've been seeing them in the media for far too long. And you don't cover the Menendez brothers this much unless you're working on getting them out. And that's what you're doing. That's why the judge re-sentenced them with the possibility of parole so they can get out here pretty soon. That's my take on it. I like to hear what y'all think about it. So, free Mr. Hoover, 52 years in prison. He's paid his debt to society. Let the man out. You know, he's no different than a lot of people. that have done crimes similar and they just didn't get caught. Or they're like Senator Kennedy back in the 60s. He committed a crime and had so much money and political connections, he got a slap on the wrist for taking a life. And then the other member of the Kennedy family that I talked about earlier, same thing. Killed somebody, tried to frame a black man, finally went to court, got arrested, then ended up getting out early because of their connections. Then if you go watch the Kennedy family documentary, there was another Kennedy involved in a sex scandal with a young girl who was 12 years old. He got arrested, but got probation, and I think he was in his late 30s. Go check it out. I mean, make this judicial system make sense to me, because I don't understand it. But that's my take on it. This has been Fourth Person Point of View. I'm out, baby.